Andrew Jefford for Wines of Crete, copyright Wines of Crete. Welcome, Andrew.
Good to be here.
So, what are your first impressions of very in-depth look at what's going on in Crete?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy to be here. I've only ever been here as a tourist before, so it's wonderful to be here in a professional capacity. I love coming to Greece. I love tasting Greek wine because I tend to think that UK wine journalists like me get very spoiled. We see the wines of all of the world, and of course there was this great revolution in fruity wines, particularly from the southern hemisphere. And I always think when you come to Greek wine, you come to wines which have a sort of European essence of complexity always. They may have this or that other failing. They may not be the most perfect fine wine you could ever imagine, but they always have this complexity and intricacy. What I've discovered here on Crete is red wines of real depth, complexity and interest, and structure too. I think that's very important. And what's really surprised me the most is Crete's performance with white wines. Extraordinary technical levels of assurance, beautifully made wines, but wines of perfume and finesse and delicacy as well. I wasn't expecting that, so that's the big surprise.
That's very interesting, but some constructive criticism.
Yeah, well, I think for me, let me just explain the people I'm writing for. I tend to write blogs and columns for wine magazines, Decanter Magazine, World of Fine Wine Magazine. I also do a bit of writing for the Financial Times. So the people that are reading the material I'm writing are people who love wine already. They're people who are not new to wine, they're people who love wine, who are interested in wine, and particularly who want to taste terroir. They want to taste the place in the wine. So I think I wouldn't have many criticisms of the white other than the most interesting thing for the people who I'm writing for is the indigenous varieties. So what we want to see is the most differentiation between those indigenous varieties. I think on the red side of things there's more room for technical progress. What I love, as I said to you just now, is the structure and the richness, the structural richness and depth of the wines. But often I found there were some aromatic issues. Either they had rather generalized, vague, soupy aromas without particular nuances picked out, or there were quite often some problems to do with reduction or perhaps storage issues or something like that. So I think it is quite important with those red wines to bring them to a further stage of perfection, is to work on the aromatic finesse of the wines. But in general, I have to say I'm impressed by what I found.
That's a good point, and that will be picked up by the growers and the technicians.